Hello and welcome to the third episode of Inside FHS. Our first segment is Student Safari by Darren Jakes and Lauren Medeiros.
Hello and welcome to Lauren's Safari. Today I'm going to be showing you the urban jungle known as high school. Here we have the gym where you can commonly find the Buffius Brutus, also known as the jock. They're pretty short-tempered, so we have to be careful so as not to anger it. Oh look, there's one now. Most of the time they can be found out on the field playing sports. But sometimes you can find them inside.
Lauren! Oh
no, it appears I've made it angry. Well, that could have gone better. Let's try our luck down in the watering hole to see if we get anything better. Here we have a studious smarticus, otherwise known as the nerd. These twiggy, pathetic, quiet little creatures can most often be found being made fun of by the jocks and being forced to do their homework and take their lunch money from them. Look at it go! And here we have the sleeping flunky, or the failures no evidence. Look at the drool on this one! Let's leave him alone until the bell stirs him back to consciousness. It should be about time for the students to be congregating in the cafeteria now. Let's go check it out. Now here we are in the cafeteria. If you look over there, you can see a popularitas textilotius. They're leaders of the pack and they dominate the trends known as fashion. Let's see how close I can get to it.
So, anyways, I was walking in the hallway today and he totally looked at me. He has that French charm. He totally likes me. Hang on a second, that weirdo is looking at me. Oh my god, is that a camera? I think he noticed. Oh my god, get out of here!
Look at oh my god, my hair, ew. Oh, alright, so now we're going to...
Hey, you found those two freaks, they're over there.
That concludes this episode. See you next time.
The STEM lab is a two-part classroom area in the building downstairs in the basement that consists of a wet area, which is predominantly for projects that are based on wet, water, things like that. And the other part is for dry projects, places where kids can do woodworking types of things.
Overall, we're trying to provide our students with kind of a cross-curricular type class in which not only are they trying to understand content, but they're trying to use math, they're trying to work together as teams, they're trying to communicate, they're writing, they're presenting. To some degree, you could say they're being like little employees, integrating a lot of their different talents that they're learning in all their different classes. And they're becoming problem solvers, and when all said and done, we're hoping they're kind of gaining a certain level of confidence and the ability to be much more complete students than maybe they were already.
The STEM program is a course designed for kids and students to understand science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and how they interact and engage together. So it's not just about learning the science or learning the math, it's about how do all these things work together? What happens when something doesn't work? What happens when it falls apart? How do you handle working with other people? How do you do everything and keep a timeline? So it's a very interesting course.
I enjoy it very much. It's been lots of fun being able to work with my team, and I feel that it will help freshmen get into engineering much more in the future.
Ideally, the way the class is designed, they're going to take with them certain skills that they'll take into their sophomore year, junior year, and so on. For instance, the ability to work as teams, to multitask, to solve problems, to present, to use certain technologies that we have available to them. So I do feel that our students are going to walk out of here with a skill set that will help them in their future here, no matter what class they're taking.
So far, we've done a duct tape project where we construct something out of duct tape that has to fulfill a specific purpose. And another is an algae farm.
This class itself is constantly evolving. We're coming up with new projects to try to attend to, new problems to solve. Ms. Bourgeau is teaching a class next year for sophomores, juniors, and seniors called Steminar, which is the same concept as this class, just pushing them that much further, using higher level math, using more complex subjects in the sciences and engineering to solve bigger problems with a little bit more complexity, to kind of take them that next step further.
We enjoyed the duct tape project the most because we could really do anything we really wanted if you could make it out of duct tape, and the algae farming because, well, we got to grow algae.
Students can do anything at the 9th grade level, from growing algae and studying how it grows or what affects it, what changes it. They can look at biofuel or aquaponics and how fish and algae help plants grow or harm plants. They can also model how the human body works and build different structures to see how the muscles or the bones interact together. What does it look like? How does it work? Each student is basically given 5 topics to choose from: biodiesel, aquaponics, eutrophication, the human body, and algae in general. And they pick a topic and they research it and they run with it.
The big project we play around with, you just spoke to a group that is doing aquaponics, a lot of students do, in which they use fish water ultimately to feed plants, and the plants to some degree filter the water back for the fish. We have some kids that are creating diesel gas out of vegetable oil. We have other kids who are growing algae. You can use algae as a means to sequester carbon from the atmosphere, or even you can use algae as a potential fuel source, among other things. And we have some kids who are doing projects that are kind of replicating the human body. We had a team in my Period 2 class who built a very functional working hand. And beyond that, sometimes kids come up with their own little projects that I don't necessarily assign, but definitely fall under what I want the kids to get out of this class.
And our next video is the 7th period, produced by Jake Harrington.
In this quiet, seemingly innocent school, many teachers dwell the halls. Some were good, some, well, not so much. Today we'll be looking at the other kind. Scott Crocker was a science teacher, and he was slowly snapping. An incline in student failures drove him into madness. And this madness is driving him into the darkest depths of insanity and into the 7th period.
Well, good morning, class. I just graded your tests, and, well, let's put it this way. It is the worst piece of trash I have ever seen. Ever. I don't know what's gotten into you, but I'm going to tell you this right now. It's done. It's over. The game is up. You all, every one of you, have a detention. And we're going to go over this. And we're going to find out what the heck is going on, because these aren't even worth the paper that they're written on.
What the hell's gotten into you, Croc? You've become a monster.
You know, when I read these, I couldn't believe it. I was just shocked. So, you know, to tell you the truth, I think it would be a wiser investment for me to take $80 out of my wallet and burn it than read the next set of tests if they're going to be like this. So, once again, we're going to go back to the drawing board, and we're going to
What? Where am I? You're in detention, Crocker. Detention? But I'm a teacher. A teacher? Ha! With your grades, you'd be lucky to be serving fast food. My grades? I graduated summa cum laude. Stop joking around, Crocker. You'll be writing, "I will not be mean" on the board for the next 3 hours. When the clock strikes noon, you can go.
And so Crocker wrote, wondering what had happened. Had he died? Is this what hell is? He glanced up to the clock. Hour after hour, Crocker wrote the same thing, over and over, the words becoming ingrained in his head.
No. No. How is the clock moving backwards?
Crocker was stuck, doomed forever to live out the hell he had inflicted upon his own students.
Get up, Crocker. Detention has just started. What are you doing sleeping? What?
Did not matter how much Scott begged or pleaded or resolved to change his ways. He was there to stay, for there is no mercy in the seventh period.
The next video is going to be starring me in the wood shop, and it's going to be on the Playhouse. Preschool project got started through Mrs. Fitz up in the early childhood education of the life skills program. She had mentioned to me that her little playhouse outside was falling apart and it was made of plastic, and I had suggested that we could make a full-scale one made out of wood and a nice showpiece for the woodworking program and for the life skills program.
You three guys are going to have to hold the wrench in the air until I get a level, all right, and I get a measurement.
The basis of this project is to have the kids understand basic framing members and how a house or a dog house or even a skyscraper is built.
Grab that. Al, investigate the next wall. Make sure it's all done correctly.
I've been doing a lot of the setup, a lot of the figuring with the Playhouse, and the students have been pretty much doing all the work, which is great.
90-degree horizontal. Right. And then we're going to slide.
I feel like it's a good experience because we learn how to build a shed if we needed to, and it's very fulfilling seeing how we are building this for little kids.
Just a good thing for the school and be able to have the students build something, especially for the little kids. I just think it's a good thing.
It's very good for experience for building sheds, houses, and learning how to build certain materials and building walls, and for getting back to the community and doing something good.
It's pretty much exactly like a house would be, and it's going to have window boxes, and it's going to have a little bench seat inside, and it will be lots of fun for the kids to play with.
Do you expect the Playhouse to be finished by the end of this year?
Yes, we do. We hope we have it up and running, and by the end of the year, and so the kids can get a good feel for it in the summertime and whatnot.
Grab that. The way it's been built, it will last forever, just like a regular house, so that not just this year's class, but classes 20 years from now will still be able to use that Playhouse.
We do plenty of projects down here in the woodworking lab. We're doing some cutting boards for the VIPS program. We have the Adirondack chairs, which we're building for various teachers and various people in the community. And yeah, we're very busy down here.
Con los terroristas.
The Harlem Shake. Harlem Shake. Harlem Shake. Con los terroristas.
terrorista.
And do the Harlem Shake.
Con los terroristas.
And do the Harlem Shake.
Okay, next up is FHS Credit Fair.
Welcome to the first Credit for Life Fair that we're holding here at Falmouth High School.
Hi, good morning. Here we are in the field house. Today it's all about money management and education, and I'm with two Falmouth High School seniors, Allison and Cody. Allison, tell us what you expect to achieve today.
Just to get a better understanding of life and to stay out of debt.
I'm hoping to learn about the costs of life, I guess, because most of them are hidden from me, from my parents, paying all the bills.
We're here with Bob Kelly of Cape Cod 5-Cent Savings Bank. Bob, as you look around the room in this full arena of children, what are your expectations and what are you hoping that we'll achieve today?
I think what the bank would like to do here today, and I think we're being successful at doing it, is to create the awareness with the high school kids of how much it's going to cost from every perspective going forward, whether it be housing, whether it be school, whether it be credit cards, and just make sure they know when they're leaving high school that they can adjust accordingly to the real world out there that we all are a part of.
I learned how expensive things can be and how you have to look at everything and see how much you're actually spending to see how much you have left over at the end of the day. I learned how to budget my money according to what I want to be, and I want to be a musician. And I learned that I'm going to have a lot of money left over and have a pretty good life.
This was a really great experience. I learned a lot about budgeting my money. I don't know, it was nice going around, meeting different people in their different fields and getting to know a little thing.
I think it's so great for these kids to get this experience, and I loved that they were taking it seriously and thoughtfully.
I thought that it was a really fun idea, and I'm glad that I was part of the first class to do it at Falmouth High School.
I thought it was a great experience. It really gave us a reality check on what's to come in the future for our lives, and I liked it a lot. It was a good experience.
Our next video up is Texting and Driving by the Inside FHS class.
Texting and driving is one of the stupidest things.
I have a kid who's 17 years old, and I have told him I will take the keys away in a heartbeat if I even get a thought of him doing that.
Texting and driving is not a good thing because it distracts you in 30 seconds or even 5 seconds with your eyes off the road can mean something.
There's a sign when we come into school on Gifford Street, and it says that text can wait. How do you feel about texting and driving?
I think it's a good idea not to text and drive because it's very dangerous.
Texting and driving it's dumb. Kids be looking at their phones, all of a sudden they look up, they're headed straight for a tree, and that's the last thing they see. It's wrong, it ain't good, kids shouldn't be doing it.
What about the other people on the road that our text might impact? How do you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't want someone texting driving behind me because if I have to stop quickly or turn, they're most likely going to rear end me if they're not paying attention.
It mentally distracts you, it's physically distracting your hands, and it's visually distracting your eyes away from the road.
Texting and driving? I think it's a bad idea.
I think it is a horrible idea to text while you're driving, especially you kids out there, because you guys are just learning how to drive, and as confident as you may feel, it's a very dangerous activity.
And it's actually becoming more dangerous than drunk driving.
texting and driving is it is against the law, and not only teenagers are guilty of it, but adults.
I don't think it's a good idea to text and drive. Sometimes I make a phone call when I'm driving, and that's really too hard, but there's no way I can look down at a keyboard and punch in numbers and pay attention to the road. It's not right.
Texting and driving is extremely dangerous. Statistics show that most kids under 17 years old get in an accident.
Look at texting phones as a toy, and when you're driving, it's probably not a good idea to have a toy in your hand, because something bad could happen.
It shouldn't happen. It's you shouldn't do it. It's just as bad as like drinking and driving or being high while driving. It's distracted driving, and it could cause unnecessary death and pain and suffering.
Yeah, texting and driving is not a good thing. And anytime that takes away from your focus on the road is dangerous. Your reaction times aren't going to be as quick because you're concentrating on something down.
And if you're not paying attention, whatever you're doing, just changing the radio, looking in the rearview mirror, whatever, you have a lot of risk, and you have fractions of seconds to respond to what's happening.
If you look down for 2 seconds, that's 1/1000, 2/1000, and by the time you look up, you could be anywhere.
Don't text and drive.
Don't text and drive.
Don't text and drive.
Please don't text and drive. Just drive when you're driving.
No mandes mensajes de texto porque mientras manejas porque te puedes morir.
Don't text and drive. I mean it.
No textear y manejar. Do not text and drive.
Don't text and drive. Your life depends on it.
Don't text and drive.
Personally, don't know anybody who's gotten killed doing it. I don't want to know anybody who's gotten killed doing it. So stop it!
And remember, it's not your life that is on the line, it's everybody else's too. Smarten up and do the right thing. Don't text and drive.
Well, I think professional musicians really make a connection, help make the connection between what jazz should sound like and what we're trying to achieve in our classes. Oftentimes student musicians are just learning for the first time. They're just experiencing those sounds and those qualities for the first time. So to have professional jazz musicians come in and model what that is, face to face, is a great experience, and that's what it's really all about. Imagine if I think if I could have had Miles Davis in front of me, playing and saying, "Hey, this is what it should sound like." What a difference that would have made for my education. So bringing professional jazz musicians in is key to helping young jazz musicians to know what the sounds are supposed to be. band parent organization is, bar none, the most important asset we have in terms of financing and helping to get things accomplished. And like, you know, we rely so heavily on our school board, and they do such a great job. The school committee is wonderful, and our administrators are wonderful. We have a lot of support. We're given a lot of time to do these great things. And then outside that, we have a number of events that require additional income, and the school is not able to budget those in. It would be too expensive. And so rather than cancel these kinds of events, we're able to hold them anyways because the band parents fundraise for them all year. So year after year after year, we try to produce the money to help support these things. Now, this particular event, Evening of Jazz, was not a money maker years ago. If we broke even, that was a great thing. And now it actually does earn money every single year because the Falmouth's best kept secret, I think, is no longer. And we're glad for it. We want to keep bringing people in and showing them what we do here. And thanks to the band parents, we can. Well, again, you know, the Falmouth Band Parent Association lines up with sponsors, and we're very grateful to all the sponsors and businesses in town, friends of the Falmouth Band Parent Association that support us with you know, financial aid. But frankly, through word of mouth, we didn't feel we were reaching enough. So this year we decided to run a commercial. We ran a commercial through Channel 14, our public access channel here in town, and that seemed to help. And we've also been using the Power School system that we have here to connect with all the teachers in the district. So through I think our own faculty at Falmouth Public Schools, we're spreading the word. And then additionally, the sponsors, we're hoping, will let the community know and visitors to know that they should come and check out our concert.